Welcome back. Today is another palette of the week video, and today our palette is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. This is not a new palette. You've probably seen it, but in case you haven't, here are the beautiful colors. Okay, so what Anastasia Beverly Hills website has to say about this palette is that it's $42, and I don't know if it says how much product you get, but I'm assuming that it is the same as their other palettes that come in this format. I will list the amount of product that you get on the screen right here. It says it is an essential eyeshadow collection featuring 14 shades including neutral and berry tones. Use Anastasia Beverly Hills' first permanent palette, Modern Renaissance, to create endless looks for daytime and evening. Highly pigmented, easy to blend, 11 matte shades, 3 metallic, and it includes a dual size soft bristle brush, as you know the other ones do. This is the last of my ABH palettes that I'm reviewing here. I did create in the demo this halo look eye that I have on right now. I hope you guys will enjoy the demo. And I'm not going to spoil too much because after the demo we're going to come back for my final thoughts. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and do some swatches. I'm not going to swatch all of these, but I am going to swatch my favorite colors of, that I used this week. So I'll start with the shimmers. Yeah. So this first one is called Vermeer. The second one is Primavera. And the third one is a dark shimmer called Antique Bronze. And the shimmers in this palette, just like all of her palettes, are just gorgeous. I'll give you a little swatch action here. I am not a swatch queen by any means, but I do my best. Here's what they look like. So this top one is Vermeer. The second with a gold in it, which is what I have on my lid as a highlight today in the halo eye, is called Primavera. And this shade right here is called Antique Bronze, and that's exactly what it is. It's a bronze shade that has a nice metallic finish to it. And then my other three that are my favorites are Bone Fresco, Love Letter, and Venetian Red. All right, the third one was not the best. But this is what we have here. We have Bon Fresco, which is this beautiful plum, dusty plum color. It works great as a transition shade for sure. And then this one right here, which is Love Letter, which is this top shade on top. It's the pinkest of the colors in this palette. And then right here is Venetian Red, and that's this one right here that has a little bit more of a red a red tone to it than Love Letter up the top. So those were some of my favorite shades this week. I really enjoyed using this. I guess I didn't really think of this as a neutral palette when I started out with it, but I definitely say you can get endless neutral looks with this, but also get some gorgeous pops of color with the reds and the pinks and this bright orange shade, which is Realgar, one of the favorite shades from everybody else. Watch it right here for you. And it's a nice deep orange shade, almost like a pumpkin shade. enjoyed that demo. This is probably my favorite look that I did this week. I haven't really done a whole lot of halo eyes in my eyeshadow routine yet, and so this was kind of a first for me, and I love how it turned out. I love this pink blown out thing that I have going on here. I will show you real quickly the colors that I used to create this look. You would have seen them in a demo, but since I have it sped up, I don't want you to miss out. I did use, well, I used this tempera shade, which is a bone shade. As you can see, I used this all week to set my primer. It's a great shade for that. It's also a great brow bone highlight, which is what I have today. And then I used this dusty plum shade called Bone Fresco in the crease as a transition today. And then I think I went in, yeah, I went in with Venetian Red next in the crease on the inner corner and on the outer corner to start building that halo eye. And then I went in with Love Letter on doing the same on the inner, or on the outer and the inner corner, building up that dark halo eye. And then I used Bone Fresco to blend it out and sort of connect the outer with the inner, you know, above the crease. And then I went in with this gold shade, which is Primavera, and just absolutely gorgeous all over the lid. You absolutely can use a setting spray like Max Fix Plus if you want to intensify the shimmers on your lid or wherever you're using them. However, I didn't find it completely necessary. It did work well with this Morphe flat shader brush that I have here. You can see that it's very skinny, and this worked great all week for patting shimmers on the lid. And then also it works just as well if you go in with your finger and just sort of pat some of the shimmer on the lid to increase the intensity of the shimmer. This is a great everyday palette. Again, like I said, I didn't really think of it as a neutral everyday palette when I bought it, and because I mostly bought it for the pinks and the reds in here. But it really does create a very easy natural eye. I, again, feel like even with doing 4 looks, I barely touched on the different looks that could come out of this palette. For those of you that find it to be really important to have everything you need in one palette, specifically like if you're traveling or something and you just want to bring one palette, this would be a great one. You have these 2 shades down here, which are Raw Sienna and Burnt Orange, and as well as this one up here is called Golden Ochre. I find those shade names really fun because I do paint, and so a lot of these are actually paint names, like Cypress Umber, that's what they call the brown in acrylic paints generally, Burnt Orange, Raw Sienna, Golden Ochre, this Red Ochre. Those are all paint shade names as well for acrylic painting, and so if you didn't know, I do that as well. I have too many hobbies. But yeah, absolutely. This, you know, it has transition shades for sure. It has a matte brow bone highlight for you, or a shade for setting your entire, you know, like over your primer. It has like a deeper metallic. You could totally do a one shadow look out of this shade right here, which is Antiqued Bronze. You could pat that on the lid with your finger or a flat shader brush and then buff a little bit of it out in the crease or transition area and build yourself a one shadow look, or go one step further and either put Vermeer or Primavera, you know, on the inner corner for a little highlight and give a little dimension to that one shadow look. Again, you can get tons of neutral looks out of this, but you can get some very gorgeous pinky or warm orangey shades and looks out of this palette as well. So I really do recommend it. I know this is old news to a lot of people here on YouTube, but I thought this would be a fun palette for Valentine's week and, you know, get some romantic pinky looks going on here. And I really recommend it. This is probably my favorite out of the 3 ABH palettes that I have. I did use this palette all week in conjunction with the Lorac behind the scenes, yeah, eye primer. This is new to me. Some of you would have seen that I had to throw away my Urban Decay primer potion because the product started to change and get oily, and we don't want that on our eyelids. So I went ahead and started using this one this week, and I really like it. And I think it helped and made a difference with not only the pigmentation showing up on my eyes, but also holding on to those matte shadows. I feel like I don't have as much trouble keeping shimmers on my eyes as I do with matte shadows. And so using a primer in conjunction with that really makes a difference. And like I said, I set my eyes all week with this lightest shade called Tempura, and then also used it on my brow bone. So I hope you guys are really enjoying this Palette of the Week series. If you haven't watched my other ones, I will link them down below. And in case you were wondering, I know some people in my personal life have asked me this, so in case you guys were wondering, after I run out of palettes, because I do not have 52 palettes for 52 weeks in the year, but after I finish up the single palettes, I plan to do some kind of a series where I talk about and show you looks that you can get when you pair certain palettes together. You know, it'll be about palettes that I have within my collection that I think pair well together. I'm thinking this one might pair really well with the Winky Lux kitten palette that we got in BoxyCharm a few months back. So stay tuned for that. Once I get through all of my palettes, I think I have like 15 or 16, something like that. Once I get through all of them, the Palette of the Week series will continue. It will just be a little different. So if you like this video, go ahead and click that like button for me, thumbs me up, and subscribe if you haven't already. And also you can check me out on Instagram at JourneyInBeauty, all one word, if you haven't already. And we'll see you next time, and don't forget to wear your sunscreen, kids.